The purpose of this tutorial is to help you understand vector velocity. The formula for calculating vector velocity is the V with the arrow over the top. That indicates that this is a vector quantity, meaning it has magnitude and direction. That is calculated by taking the displacement and dividing it by the time. The short way to write it is this. Anything with an arrow over it is a vector quantity. To understand displacement, it's simply the shortest distance from origin to destination. And we need to include distance units as well as a cardinal direction. For example, you might go 20 miles somewhere, but if I wanted to know the displacement, I would have to write that as the distance, the shortest distance, from origin to destination in a specific direction. Now, we all know that the shortest distance between 2 points is going to be a straight line. So, for example, if I go from point A to point B, and I have to drive a very curvy road, my actual distance traveled would not be my displacement. The displacement is the straight line from my point of origin to my point of destination. This line right here would be my displacement, understanding that you have to include a direction. So if we have our compass rose here, then we know that we traveled in a southeasterly direction. So again, displacement is a vector, and it is a very important component of vector velocity. Here is an example of a vector velocity problem. Let's say we want to know the vector velocity if a person has traveled from point A to point B in 2 hours. Okay, we have to look at the original diagram. So if this is point A and this is point B, but the road they traveled went like this, we have to figure out the actual displacement. How far is it from point A to point B in a straight line? So the red line here indicates our displacement. We would need to know that distance as well as the direction. Let's use this as our compass rose. So we know our direction is east, and let's just say that this is 50 kilometers, the distance from A to B, or the displacement from A to B. So plugging this information into the formula, vector velocity equals displacement over time. The displacement would be 50 kilometers east divided by the time it took to be displaced, and that would be 2 hours. So in calculating this, this is going to be 25 kilometers per hour east. So a vector velocity is a little different than the generic velocity that we talked about in the previous tutorial. This includes displacement.